Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first podcast. Just quickly before we start, I just want to let you know that Chance was having some audio issues during the recording. So, if there's ever a part where he sounds like he's messing up, or if there's a part that doesn't sound completely natural, that's probably due to some audio errors that could not be fixed or adjusted. So, I would like to apologize beforehand and enjoy the rest of the show. It's recording.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
All right, you wanna do introductions or?
Yeah, let's go ahead. You go first.
All right. Well, I am one of your two hosts.
That
Can we start over? All right. This is the introduction for real.
Starting it up.
All right, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you're the host.
All right, bet. Hello, welcome to the first episode of The Midnight Shift. I am your host, Chance.
And I'm the co-host, Scott. Nice to meet you.
All right, and today I'm going to be asking, Scotty, I'm going to ask you a question that I was thinking about earlier. And do you think it's weird that from such a young age, through like movies and books and TV and all that, like falling in love is such like a big deal?
You know, that's actually a weirdly interesting idea. Because it is considered like a very, very like big thing, like finding the one and finding like your perfect
It's in
soulmate.
everything.
Yeah.
Like you're a child, like you can barely talk at this point, and now it's like this big mission. It's like, okay, go find the love of your life.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, you're gonna meet a girl. Every other girl before this means jack shit to you now, because it's just her, and also you're 5.
Yeah, you're 5 years old. Most shows won't even like talk about death because it's too serious. However, you need to understand that you're going to meet a lot of people that in the long run won't mean anything to you, but you need to meet this one specific person that utterly and totally completes you.
It's like, whoa,
It's like, whoa, that's tough.
that's a fucking lot of responsibility put on a fucking 5-year-old.
Yeah, it's such an abstract idea too.
Yeah, because like most of the time it's like you're not half the people you meet are like, yeah, they're fine and they're okay, but it's like you're never feeling like, oh, it's the one.
Like almost everyone you meet though, from when you're a child to when like I guess eventually you die, aren't even gonna be romantic partners though.
Yeah, and it's such a weird thing to be like, okay, yeah, everyone you meet has a possibility, has a distinction.
Yeah, and it's just odd to me because I'm like, well, what's the purpose? Why not, focus more on like making friends and like being able to connect as like young humans. That way when you grow older you can make like really strong connections.
Instead of being
Except,
like,
yeah, instead of just being like, oh my God, like I'm in love with every person I've ever met.
it's kind of weird that we push the idea of love onto little kids who like barely understand the concept of, oh, I feel things.
Exactly. And I was thinking, and I was like, I bet that's why that when you're in like middle school and in high school, like every person you talk to, you're like, oh my God, I'm obviously in love with this person.
Okay, I
Like
haven't felt that.
like 7th grade, okay, is when I first told a girl that was not like either my mom or my sister that I loved them in like a romantic sense. And I was like, I obviously didn't love that person. I was in 7th grade.
You were just starting to get rock hard for
Yeah,
reasons.
exactly. Like I just found out what boners were. Like,
I don't know. I feel like it's a weird kind of mentality to put on like kids. Because it's
oh,
like,
definitely.
because like I can especially say for me, like I realized like going like looking back, it's like, oh yeah, the reason I didn't try out to go after this person or whatever that I liked was because I was just like, oh well, maybe they're just not the one or something. Because that's when you're told every day by like the medium that you consume the most, hey, there's only one person one special person, and that's it. Everyone else is garbage, and it will not end well. It's like kind of hard to be like, yeah, I'll give this a try.
Yeah, I can believe that. It's like, why would I play the field if I'm really just supposed to like find this one person automatically immediately?
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, what's the point when just like every romantic comedy, she's just gonna literally fall out of the sky.
Yeah, like it's an early 2000s romantic comedy, and you're a big businessman, and you meet her in a cafe one day because your coffees get mixed up,
Yeah,
and then you just keep running into each other and running into each other until eventually you sleep with each other.
it's just it wasn't even like a planned thing. Like you weren't on a date or anything. You just fucking like fell in.
Yeah, you're like, oh, we're at a coffee thing again. Yeah, you want to hook up in the back of my 2006 Infinity?
My 1990 Toyota Corolla.
1997 Celica.
But it's like it's just such a weird idea to be like, oh yeah, find someone, find them, and it's just like, whoa. I don't know.
So
It's
much pressure too.
what?
It's so much pressure too.
Yeah. Plus, it's like not even accurate, even for like adults.
No, because it's like I don't know, like you don't really even enter the field to find like the one, and obviously it varies from people to people. But I would say probably until like your mid 20s.
Yeah, because that's when you can like, your mom and dad aren't restricting you. You're like, oh
Yeah, like
man,
you're actually grown
would
up.
you look at the time? It's like 9 o'clock. My mom and dad are gonna beat my ass if I'm not home in
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Oh shit! Sorry, Jesse. I gotta go. It's 9:35. I'm late.
Oh fuck, curfew. Just like, like it doesn't fucking work that way now. Now it's just like, oh, I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, it's like I'll go home when I fucking want to.
My curfew is now at 12, and I decided that.
I go to bed at 8:30 on school nights now, Mom.
Fuck
Bitch.
you. uh, but yeah, it's just like weird because like they even push it as a like for adult mediums. Either that or like it's a complete swap. It's like either oh yeah they're like perfectly in love and nothing goes wrong and they're perfectly compatible and the only time they have a fight is when the writers decide fuck you, the story needs conflict, or it's like yeah no they're just hooking up and that's it.
I've noticed that too. It's either like, oh yeah, love is the strongest thing in the story. It's a love story. It is the driving force of everything to do with these two characters, or it's like we hate love. We hate these two characters, and we hate whenever they're happy.
The writers just taking out their like anger about their relationships on these characters.
Yeah.
It's like take that, Rebecca. Fucking
Yeah, typing out the script. Fuck you, Brad. The male interest name is Leonard. Well, fuck you, Brad. Like,
they just add into the script like fuck you, Brad. Just like turn to the camera.
and that's why we're getting a fucking divorce. And it's like, well, they're actually just a couple in the show. They've never been married.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just super weird to like have the idea of a love be so prominent in everywhere when it's just like in a normal relationship, you make a compromise, they make a compromise, you're just fine. You know? It's not
Yeah,
like
and that's something I don't think a lot of people realize is how much compromise goes into literally everything about like a quote unquote adult relationship.
what the fuck was that comedy special where like the guy was just like the 2000s early 2000s love movie but afterwards.
Oh yes, Brent Morin.
That's right. He was just like 10 years later fucking the guy is like kicked out of the corporate world because of his fucking breakdown.
Yeah, because he just chose to lose his goddamn mind because he wants to be with this girl that he barely knows.
Yeah, it's wild again, wild.
I actually rewatched Marriage Story the other day.
Yeah.
And by the way, that is a wonderful movie. I love that movie. It is a grueling movie.
Like it's just hard watching like basically the destruction of what was a healthy relationship.
Yeah, because like I don't know, it's hard because like you can tell one person or even both characters were like obviously there's things we don't like, but all in all we're gonna try to get along, and then it was like one little jab after another until just absolute and all out brawl, like total haymakers from both sides for no reason until the relationship was just destroyed.
Well, the thing was like at first, at the beginning of the story, it was just like, oh yeah, they're getting a divorce. They're not in love with each other, but like they're professional about it. They're like, yeah, um, so I'll move here. Like I'll move here. We're making compromises, and then suddenly, and I like that movie because you could take either side depending on who you wanted to root for, like Adam Driver or Scarlett Johansson. Like you could take either side if you wanted to, but like to me, Adam Driver was, in my opinion, more in the right.
I watch it, and maybe it's because I'm a guy,
Yeah,
but like I really feel like obviously he had like a couple hiccups here and there. Like he technically did have an affair,
yeah,
but I don't even I count it because they're married, but I don't count it because they weren't like were they, you know?
yeah. It's like you're basically divorced. Like, but I
Like
don't know. I definitely get like, oh, he had an affair. That's horrible. But the thing that like kind of pushed me away from like the mom side was just the fact of how much shit she put him through specifically, just because she just wanted to be almost like a bitch.
that's exactly what she did. And like I understand it's like there comes a time in everyone's life where they're like, "Well, I want to I want to do what I want to do," you know?
Yeah,
And like that's fine. And it's like, completely valid. You want to be on your own and just like live your life. However, you have a child and you can't just go around screaming that you want what you want all the time. Like, and that's her defense. She's like, what about what he wants? What about what Henry wants? And it's like, you're not giving what Henry wants either.
Henry doesn't give a shit where he lives. He's fucking 5 years old.
Yeah, he's like 8 or 9 or something. I'm like, he's still at that fluid point where like he really could do anything.
Yeah, he could hop out of New York and into LA and like be perfectly fine.
And he did. But it's like, I don't know. And I understand where she's like, well, he promised that we would do this, and she just kept talking about LA over and over and over again.
Yeah. My thing was like the main thing that got me was the fact that like all she had to do was just stay in LA the entire time and like she could like fight it out. But like Adam Driver's character had to fucking constantly fly back and forth from New York, had to find like lawyers in LA. He didn't just have it. He had to like work for Henry while she was just sitting there like, yeah, I'll just let the lawyer take over and like she can get Henry for me.
Yeah, like he's working like tirelessly, like throughout the entire movie, getting his teeth kicked in literally at every curve. In like that one scene where they're arguing in his like little apartment, I love that scene.
That scene is amazing, especially the
And
meme where he just goes, "Every day I wake up."
I honestly love that like 30-second like little like part of it. That is my probably my favorite piece of cinema.
Yeah, memes aside, like it's fucking amazingly amazingly acted. It takes like when he starts breaking down and crying and like does the like almost having a panic attack. At first
Yeah.
I didn't get it, but then like I thought back, I was like, wait, at the beginning they said that his parents fought, and I was like, strong that's a strong connection to make to something that was like a backstory.
Fighting or whatever and they're arguing like adults, but then like he absolutely loses his mind when she compares him to his dad.
Which I mean, fair enough. Like,
Yeah, I think everyone does that.
yeah, I think nobody likes being compared to their parents when fighting.
Yeah, which is such a dig on you and your parents.
Yeah, especially like if you don't. It's especially on you if your parents don't get along and the other person knows that. Then it's just kind of a crap move on the other person.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
And
wow,
like
thanks, bringing up like
I've heard
the
this
past.
before. They're like, well, when you're mad, you just say things you don't mean. And let me tell you something. When I'm mad, I say things that I mean. I might not mean to say them to you most of the time, but I mean what I said, and now we both have to live with whatever got said.
I I I did want to call you a cunt, but I didn't mean to.
That's exactly like that's what I'm talking about. Like people will be in arguments, and it's like you'll be arguing with like a significant other, or maybe your parents or something, and someone will say one crazy ass thing, and then like you both have to live with that now.
Yeah, it's honestly one of those things where it's like there's no
And when
reverse one. You can't like
they come up, and afterwards, like after you're done fighting, that person is like, "Oh, I didn't mean that. I was just angry." And it's like, but you thought it enough to think it and then say it.
yeah, it's like in the end you still said it whether you meant it or you didn't mean to say it. Like it was ended up being said. It's out there now. You put that energy in the world.
It's like you said it, you obviously thought it at some point, and then you probably thought it before that to even create that thought.
Yeah. I feel like I'm taking this a little too unseriously with my like fucking energy.
No, no, like no, I get that though.
No.
Like, but like yeah, like you'll call someone like a cunt, and you're like, yeah, you're a cunt, and then afterwards, like they're not actually a cunt, like, but
I
like sometimes they're a cunt, like
I feel like what comes out in arguments is just like um because like everybody does this. Everybody like starts almost digging up the past. They're like, oh, but what about when they did this, when they did that, and you just think back to all those times. It's like, what did I think during this moment? I
exactly.
thought she was a cunt, so she's a cunt. I'll call her that now.
It's like, well,
It's honestly just like it's honestly just wild. Again, that movie is like fantastic. If you have not seen it, it's on Netflix.
oh,
Amazing performances.
yeah, that is I don't give this out to many movies because I'm a cynic, but that's a 10 out of 10 right there.
Yeah,
That is guaranteed a bona fide movie.
that movie makes you walk away like thinking about something.
Like you walk away from that movie and you lost.
No matter which side
Like
you picked, you lost.
yeah, like no, I don't know. I think Scarlett Johansson's side won.
Yeah, I feel like she ended up winning out in the end because
Adam Driver, like his life was absolutely ruined.
yeah, didn't he like? Wasn't it? Didn't it turn out like that? She still kept Henry in L.A. Isn't that what it turned out to be?
Yeah, she
But it,
got primary custody. Like she is his custodial guardian. I think he has to like I'm pretty sure he lives in LA at the end of the movie. I don't really remember. I wasn't really paying that close of attention.
I don't know. I feel like that you can take that as like a commentary on like the judicial like divorce court. Like, oh, the despite literally Adam Driver's entire life being in New York and literally him fighting so hard for it, in the end he just has to fucking deal with whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
just has to take the L.
yeah, he just has to take the L despite being, in at least our opinion, mostly right.
Yeah. Like there's a few things I think he's wrong about,
Yeah,
but like I agree with him. And what I was gonna say when I brought up that fighting scene is that he was like, "Well, you loved that life until you just didn't." And
yeah.
then you decided to be a victim. And I'm like, so many people, I think so many people today do that.
Where it's all fine and dandy until it's just suddenly not.
Yeah, they're like, no, this is like what I want to do. And then just out of nowhere in a split second, it's like, no, this is over. I hate this. You're awful. And it's like, whoa, like what just happened? Like,
Oh, whoa, buddy. What the fuck?
yeah, and that's not to say that you can't just, like feel what you want to feel or whatever. But it's I think a lot of people do that because they get bored and they get comfortable and they want to spice up their own life again. But they do
Yeah,
it like the expense of other people.
I almost find it like honestly going back to what we were talking about with like the love situation. I feel like media portrays life as such like an interesting, like riveting, always got to be action filled. That's what people kind of look for, and that's not media as in like movies and TVs. That also includes like YouTube and shit because people like will put out their entire lives on there, and it's always like And due to the nature of like vlog formats, everything's got to be interesting.
Yes, and there's like always something happening. I'm like, how are you not exhausted?
A, how are you not exhausted? And B, you're making this shit up. There's no way your life is this interesting all the time.
Yeah, it's like it's literally fake. Like you're living a lie.
Like people who work in Hollywood, like actual Hollywood, where which is like one of the most like bustling fucking um like places to work, their lives aren't this interesting.
I think about that often. Like, what do you think an average day is like? Like, if they're not shooting or anything, for like a Hollywood star, like let's say Tom Cruise, he like wakes up, he has breakfast at whatever time. He works out probably. I mean, he's older, so he probably has to stay pretty fit. And then he like goes to the grocery store, hangs out at his house some more, and then the day's over. Like he just lived the same day that like 90% of everyone lives.
Like probably what I imagine for like an actor who just isn't shooting that day, their day is probably wake up at a good time, go have breakfast, work until lunch, like rehearsing lines, eat lunch, work some more, hang out with their family, or just hang out in general. Maybe go to a club or something at night. Go to bed.
Yeah, but think about like that's just like an average everyday thing for anyone else too.
Yeah, like literally, if you just replace going through lines with just work, you have the average office worker.
Exactly, and it's like, well, okay.
But fucking Jeremy fucking Kaczynski, 69 on YouTube, he's doing something every day. He's having a more interesting life than Chris Pratt somehow.
Yeah, he's going to the zoo and like freeing gorillas and stuff. He's just doing crazy stuff, and it's like, well,
He's riding
how? What?
humpback whales in the
Yeah,
fucking middle of the Arctic.
sure, it's illegal. Like,
It's like there's no way your life is this interesting.
yeah, there's just no freaking way.
No,
But they'll make you believe that it is.
yeah, though, like it's like an act for them. It's like this is my life, and there's no way I'm ever not interesting. It's like, but we all have off days.
How expensive do you think it gets for them to like produce their lives like that?
Tax write-offs make it very inexpensive, I would bet.
Tax
Like you can just say,
write-offs. What is it? It's like technically art.
you'd be like, oh, my job is being a social media influencer, so this trip to fucking the Arctic to ride humpback whales is a business expense.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever you have, you can just say, oh, no, I don't have to pay taxes on that. This was a family vacation, but because I recorded for 5 seconds to be like, hey guys, what's up? I'm in Hawaii. Now I can write it off.
Yeah.
Like I'd imagine like that probably like at least like a quarter of their expenses are just like no longer needed or like no longer calculated for.
I think it's weird being an influencer can be like a job.
That is weird because it's like at the end of the day, you're just like recording shit. Like
Like
you're
you're
in
literally
front of a
paying
camera.
for being alive.
Yeah. But then again, it's also like, well, I was almost about to like compare it to like actors, but it's like actors, it's an art form in the end.
Actual like they're still putting something into the world afterwards.
Yeah. It's like in the end, what they end up doing is, hey, I produced this movie. It grossed X amount of dollars because people went to go see it. Influencers are like, yeah, I just recorded myself for 30 minutes, fucking like, doing some dumb shit, and I got 3 million views on YouTube. Like I distracted people for 10 minutes.
Yeah, they're like, oh, watching my new show on YouTube Red.
Fucking YouTube Red.
I'm like, YouTube Red is so stupid and it's like trying to be its own like little streaming platform, and I'm like, who has bought YouTube Red?
What shows do they have on YouTube Red?
They have like little like YouTube Red originals and stuff.
Like I had not heard of that shit since like before the Logan Paul like hanging body incident.
Yeah, I think he was in one of them.
He was like in a weird movie where it was just like, yeah, if you get below a certain score in an IQ test, you're just fucking executed on the spot.
I'm not gonna lie. I low key mess with that idea.
No, no, because you're gonna have one bad day and you're gonna be like, oh, scored a little too low.
Scored a little too low.
Sorry, buddy.
You've been thinking about anything? Any kind of weird questions?
Not really. I've just been fucking. I'm gonna be honest. I've been fucking exhausted. I think it's depression.
Is it the 24-hour streaming?
It was the 12 hour. I did a 12-hour stream recently for those who are listening. Jesus fucking Christ. I did it off of a whim after like an entire day of like staying up and everything. Was not fun. Was not fun afterwards.
Jeez, when did you start and like when did you end?
I started at 7:15 at night and went till 7:15 in the morning. I watched the sunrise.
On stream?
Yeah, on stream. If you go to it, you're just like, ooh, look at that.
What did you play for 12 hours?
I played League. I played Among Us for a little bit. And at one point, I just started talking to one guy, and I ended up giving like, this sounds really fucking stupid, but I went through my like watch history of movies, and I just gave like quick summary reviews. Where it's just like, oh yeah, this is fucking good. I would love it. I like this.
You mean like what we did with Marriage Story?
Yeah, basically, but like in a very like short fashion because there were like a bunch. Bro, speaking of those movies, fucking the one movie that I like that like stuck with me a lot when looking back through them was Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I watched that movie like twice, and like that one makes you think a little bit.
Yeah, it's not like a lot of young adult fucking films where it's just like, oh, I'm super depressed. Life fucking sucks. I hate it here. It's like, no, it like I find
Because like that movie, you don't even know what it's about until it's almost over.
well, not only that, but it treats everything in a very like, it treats it in a very adult fashion. Just like, hey, this stuff, it does suck. Let me talk to you like you're an actual adult instead of like half of the fucking young adult movies, which are just like,
Yes, dude, young adult movies suck. They're like, oops, sometimes terrible things happen that honestly there's nothing you can do about. So
what? Like,
just try
again,
to get you down.
half of young adult movies are just like, life sucks, life is terrible, you're better off basically killing yourself. Nothing is happy anymore after you're a kid. And it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like here's some Green Day.
Here's some Green Day. It's just like, whoa, that's a very heavy thing to be putting on like somebody who's 13.
Honestly.
Like you're already at the lowest point of your life and you're like being beaten down by your media.
Oh yeah, 8th grade, that is as low as it gets.
Yeah. But like Perks of Being a Wallflower, like it talks about everything very like very adult. It's like, hey, here's life. It's the good with the bad.
Yeah, it's like there's good and bad, there's bad and good, there's like a little bit of everything going on.
You're gonna fuck up. You're gonna end up getting fucked over by other people. It happens. The thing is, you just gotta have good people. You just gotta find the good people around you.
Well, yeah, it's more or less like things are gonna happen that you're gonna hate, but you might as well like find people
Yeah,
that you don't hate being with when that stuff happens.
yeah. It's again like it treats the audience not like they're like fucking idiot fucking toddler babies. It treats them like they're fucking human,
Oh yeah.
which is something like I've noticed that like a lot of media does. They like fucking treat everybody like they're the lowest fucking IQ person in the world.
Yeah, they just like talk down to like the consumer.
Yeah, and like nowhere can I say that's more evident than like kids' cartoons.
Oh yeah.
Like there are some cartoons like they're on now, and I feel like stupid for like talking about this because like it's just for kids, but like there's some cartoons on now that I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. But then there are some I'm just like, you're literally just like bright colors, flashing lights. Fuck you, buy our merch.
Yes, dude. Like I've noticed that. Like I haven't watched like a cartoon in absolute like years.
I didn't watch it for a while, but like I did watch like there was one time where like I just like sat down and watched like one show on Cartoon Network just because like I was away from home and I was like at the beach and I was just like fuck it, I'll watch this. And like it was actually a very nice show. It was called like Craig of the Creek.
No, I've not seen that.
It's a very like nice show. It's like something that like it's not overly serious, but it's like a nice like um I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a nice show that doesn't like it doesn't talk down, but it also like doesn't like treat them like they're adults. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard good things about it actually.
Plus it's like it shows a lot it shows a lot of like family values and especially like it has like a good amount of diversity, I would say.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but like you have that and on the same network you have something like Teen Titans Go, which everybody complains about.
Oh yeah, that is awful.
It is terrible to look at. But yeah, it's just crazy to me that like I don't know, it just feels like media kind of fucking treats kids like they're idiots now.
Yeah, well, I think kids have never been dumber, but kids have also never been as smart as they are now.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. Like if I feel like kids lost more common sense, but they gained more practical knowledge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because like if you were to give me an iPad when I was like 5 years old, which they may have had like the first one, but I don't think so.
Nah, because it was like we
Yeah, like
were in
2000
like
came
fifth,
out.
fourth, fifth grade by the time like the fucking iPhone came out, like the iPhone 2.
Oh yeah, so we were like 9 when that happened.
Yeah.
But if you were to give me one when I was like 5, I would not be able to know how to work it. Like I would not understand. I probably just wouldn't.
Yeah, I would probably fucking slap the screen and be like, "What the fuck is this thing? Why'd you hand me this?
Please get this away from me. I require Transformers.
Get this away from me! Hand me my Game Boy. I'm playing Pokemon."
Yeah, like, but now I see all these kids all the time, like in restaurants and stuff, and they like have like their own little devices. They're doing all this crazy stuff. They understand how like computers work. Like I still really don't understand computers.
I
Like,
honestly like admire people who like, especially kids who can like have all that knowledge. It makes me feel a little inferior, I will say, but I'm also like, huh, that's kind of interesting.
oh yeah, like kids like that. I'm like, wow, like that's something right there. But like, I don't know. But then you also see them, and they're like super weird, and they just don't know how to talk to other kids and stuff.
Yeah, where they're just like, they're like, I'm just gonna fucking scream at the top of my lungs, and if anybody tells me anything, I'm gonna shit my pants.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely freak out. Like, yeah, kids have never been weirder than they are now. Like, I feel like they've never been as smart, but they've also never been as strange.
Yeah, but honestly, what I attribute that to is like kind of the internet age we're kind of living in right now. Because like, let's be honest, I think me and you, like the generation around like fucking when we were born, like just barely missed that fucking super wave of like the iPhone and shit.
Yeah, like I remember I got my first iPhone when I was like in sixth grade. I was like 11.
Like by the time me and you like actually got phones, we were like, oh, we know what they do. Like the iPhones were still coming out and they weren't new technology, but it was also like they were kind of like strange, you know? If that makes sense?
Yeah. Like I remember your first phone was a flip phone.
Yeah, I got a goddamn flip phone. I had to fucking tap the button 3 times just to type the letter K.
And mine was like a little BlackBerry looking thing. It was like a knockoff BlackBerry,
Yeah.
which was super cool for the time. But like I remember looking at iPhones and being like, these are like adult phones.
Yeah, this is like something you get when you're an adult and you can take care of things and you're not.
Yeah, it's like you can text on an iPhone. You could play games. You could take pictures. You could do anything on an iPhone.
Bro, I got like Okay, so I kind of went through phones a little fast, but that's because my parents kept buying me like little crappy phones that like we would always need to like switch out because they suck so much. Like it was like, oh hey, you have minutes. You have a certain amount of time that you can fucking do shit. And like I kept running through them because I was like trying to text and stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like I would like try and call and stuff. And I remember the phone right before I got like an old like my mom's hand-me-down iPhone. Like I don't know if you remember this, like you could like switch them to the side and like flip them up and like they would
Yeah.
have like a little number pad. Does that make
Or
sense? Like you
yeah,
slide them up
yeah,
and they had like the fucking keypad.
yeah.
I remember thinking that was like so fucking cool. I was just like, oh, this is sick. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I remember you having that one for a period of time. And like I've always taken really good care of my things. Like that's just one of the things I do.
Yeah.
And I think I had my BlackBerry for like I want to say a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And then like I got my dad's like old iPhone 4.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is the height of luxury.
I've noticed
I'm
I've
like,
gotten like, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go for it, go for it.
I was about to say, I've realized I've gotten like progressively worse at taking care of my shit.
I don't know. I like to think I've still like managed to like maintain that skill.
Well, my thing is like, I used to have whenever I like got rid of my phones afterwards, after like after the iPhone I got, it was either by like some dumb coincidence, like something dumb happened where it's just like, oh wow, I either like messed up and like it was a simple mistake and just so happened they couldn't be fixed anymore, but like I was already nearing like an upgrade point, or
Yeah.
like anything. But now like I got my fucking new phone. I forgot to get like a glass screen protector, and like it's got like a huge gash like down towards the bottom of it because they just
Oof.
because like on jeans, they have those little like metal fucking like I don't even know what they're called. They're like those little metal pieces on like the pocket seams and everything.
Uh, oh, you mean like the coin pocket?
Yeah, which is like they have the coin pocket, but like they have those little metal pieces at the end, like right next to
Yeah.
the seam. Um, it just ended up like somehow rubbing up against that and scratching.
Jeez.
Yeah, but now I have a screen protector, and honestly, if you just don't, honestly, like half the time I just don't notice it. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's there.
I'm trying to think. I had an iPhone 4 for 2 or maybe even 3 years. And then I had my iPhone, I think it's either like a 5S or like a 6 or something. And I had that for a long, long time.
Yeah,
Like, I think I had that for the majority of like like from like ninth grade to like almost senior year. And the only reason I don't still have that phone is because it got crushed at work.
yikes.
And it was the first time I had ever broken a phone,
I'm trying
even
to.
though I had had one for like 6 or 7 years.
I can't remember like all the phones I've gone through. I just knew that this is so stupid. I jumped into a hot tub with one.
I was there for that.
Yeah, and I can't remember what happened to this last one. I think I might have just upgraded. Oh wait, no, now I remember. It was fucking. It got like glitched out or something. I was like starting to. Literally, I would charge it up all night. I would go to school and it would barely make it through the day. Like it would drop so suddenly in battery.
It's because you're watching too much porn.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I was watching porn in school. Catch me every after every period, just jacking it in the bathroom.
You ever jack off at school?
Fuck no.
For real?
Yeah, I was like, of course, like as a high schooler, you're a little horny old goblin. So like,
Math class, you're like,
so yeah, at times I'd be just sitting there, just like, man, I could really go for a beat sesh.
yeah.
But
Oh
like, I
man,
never, I was always just like, just hold on, you got like 3 more periods, and then you get to go home, and that was it. But like, I never like was just like,
like, mm,
I
not for
never
me.
like, fucking like, oh, oh, I really have the urge now. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
You've never had the urge?
I've had the urge, but I've always been like able to like quell it because I'm just like, you know what? Fucking wait till you get home. That'll be it.
Yeah, I see that.
You're gonna answer the question?
I'm gonna be real with you. like like I did it once,
What the fuck?
which is crazy because it was my senior year and I literally left like 2 or 3 hours before everyone else because
Yeah, you had like early out.
yeah, like I didn't like I want to say it was like 9 a.m. It was like second or third period.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I was sitting in my pre-cal class and I
Oh,
was just like sitting there and I was like, I really want to. And so I just like asked my teacher if I could leave. I went, did it, came back like nothing happened.
whoa, Chance, you were gone for a while. What's
Well,
up?
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
I just stayed in the bathroom all day.
It's like, wow, Chance, you were gone for like a good 15, 20 minutes. Like, you good? Like, it must have been a monstrous shit.
Was I come back all sweaty? I feel like it's a like I've heard people talk about this before. I feel like visually you can tell when someone's masturbated.
I don't know about that, but I feel like there is like a certain like way that you carry yourself afterwards.
Yeah, well, if you do it at school, you feel a little ashamed.
Yeah, you should. Fucking gross ass. Fucking
Yeah, that was tough.
sweaty, got a little bloodshot eyes. They think you either jerked off or did crystal meth in the bathroom.
I wish I did crystal meth in the bathroom. Be less shameful.
Yeah. I still I remember there was like one point where like I'm pretty sure I walked in on some people like vaping in my like senior year vaping in the bathroom next to the library. And I literally
Yeah.
just I'm pretty sure they were like looking at me and I just like went over, unzipped my pants, fucking went to the bathroom, washed my hands, got out, and I was just like, the fuck was that about?
You started jerking off right in front of them.
Whipped my cock out, just
Oh, man. Real slow, just like that.
just
That's a
fucking
power
like if somebody heard it, they would think I was clapping my hands.
move.
That's gross. I hate that.
No, that's a power move. You can...
Now I hate that I said it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I hate that I heard it, honestly.
But now we're here. We put that energy out into the world.
Can we cut that out?
I might cut that out. No, but nah, fuck. You got any other interesting like school stories?
Interesting school stories. Did you ever have like a scandal at your school?
I mean, not that I remember.
Like no teacher was like caught jerking off or anything?
Um, I don't think it was. It might not have been during while I was there. Like it might have been like literally last year or something. Heard my health teacher got fired for. I think he came in intoxicated and also tried to sext a student.
Oh
And
yeah, that's the worst things you can do as a teacher.
yeah, like fucking like sitting in like a fucking sliding into the DMs when you're like 35 and they're 17.
Ugh.
That's a little frowned upon.
Yeah, wow. Dude, I am convinced because like my school was so bad about this. They would hire these like 20 something year olds, like 24-year-olds, like straight out of college.
Hmm.
And these were like some attractive dudes.
What are you
And
gonna be surprised if like none of them fucking slept with the kid?
I am 100% sure they were sleeping with at least 6 students apiece.
Not even just a piece. Like not even like at several times. It was like a massive orgy.
It was just terrible, funky little craziness.
Little
Dude,
funky goblin
I'm
kid.
convinced because like I would be like walking in the hall and like see the group of girls that are like in question here.
Yeah.
They'd walk by their like classroom and be like, "Oh, Joelle." And they'd start laughing, and he'd start laughing. He's like, "Y'all better stay out of trouble." I'm like, "They're fucking him."
You just walked past just like I didn't know it was on the set of a porno. What the fuck?
It was like they always had like weird porn dialogue with each other. It's like, "Sorry, I forgot to do my homework," and he was like, "I'll let it slide this time, but can I see you after class?"
Ugh, I didn't
I
like
was
it.
like, "Bro, like
What?
I never do my homework, and you've never once asked me to stay after class, bro."
You are fucking that soon, and I can guarantee it.
Yeah, you could give me a zero, like just.
Usually you're just like, fuck you, Chance, get a zero. But now you're asking me kids to stay after class?
Yeah, it's like, what if I need help?
Look at me. Look at who's really in need.
I want you to fuck me. No,
No.
I was convinced that one of the girls, like, this was way before we started dating, but I was convinced that this teacher was trying to sleep with her.
What?
Yes, I would sit in class and, like, he would, like, she would be, like, going to leave, and he'd, like, run up and be, like, talking to her about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would just, like, he was always talking to her, and I was like, is he trying to, like, fuck? Like, is.
What the fuck? Is he? Is he trying to get his dick wet?
Yeah, he was, like, 23.
Yeah.
And she was like 17.
That's a yikes.
That's a yikes. But also, it's like it's only a yikes because he's a teacher. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, it's like, you still have that law of like, oh, you have to have like a 3 year difference if they're underage.
Yeah, I think it's like
So by all legal standing, it is still illegal.
yeah, I don't know. I think like ethically though, because you'll meet couples and it's like, well, she's 17, but he's like, and
Wait,
you're like, ugh, but you're also like, well, I mean,
yeah, when it's like older though, when like you've had enough, when both parties have had enough experience, I think the reason it's so creepy when the lower you get one person's age, like the lower you get with the like youngest person's age, even if the even if the age difference is still the same, I think it's still creepy because like in the end, the person who is older, even if it's just like by a few years, they've been out of fucking high school for that long. They've had enough time to become a person.
yeah, that's true.
Like they've had
I
enough
don't know.
time
I think
to
once you reach 17, it stops being as bad.
yeah.
Like if you're like, oh yeah, she's 16, and then her boyfriend is like 20, 22, like 21 or something, I'd be like, ooh, that's a little, I don't know
Mm.
about that one.
Ooh, yikes, that's a no good.
Ah, okay.
Ah.
I don't know. I think as long as the two people in the relationship, like as long as she's not like, obviously she's 16, maybe you should wait a year or two. Like
Yeah.
that, I think 17. Like realistically, if a 17-year-old were to date like a 20-year-old, like as long as they both want to be in the relationship, I just don't see anything wrong with that.
I mean, I'd probably prefer it if it was like 18 dating a 20-year-old because then at the very least it's like, oh, they're about to go off to college. They're about to be literally in the same kind of predicament.
Yeah. Like I get that, but it's like I don't know. I feel like I'm just more understanding because like I don't know. I've heard about those people my entire life that are like, well, yeah, when we met, I was 15 and or she was 15, I was 18, and then we got married like 2 years later, and then they've been married for like the last like 60 years.
Yeah. I
And I
don't
know
know.
it's like quote unquote like different time or whatever.
Yeah. Well, in my
But I'm like,
case, go
I
ahead.
mean, you
Sorry.
still feel that way about people. I mean, maybe don't act on it immediately. Maybe give it a couple of years. But
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just like I think more in extreme cases where it's just like, oh yeah, this is basically a predatory situation.
Oh yeah, well if it's like like I said, it's like an understandable time frame. If it was like 17-year-old and like a 28-year-old, they'd be like, no.
No, get off my property.
Yeah, I'm like if it's more than like 3 or 4 years, no.
Yeah, I can understand that. But again, it's like my only problem with is I immediately go to, oh, they're taking advantage in some way.
I think 17 is when you stop getting like quote unquote taken advantage of in like scenarios like that. Because you're almost 18, but you're not 16 or 15 anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of get that, where it's just like you're borderline like an adult.
Like you have adult feelings, like you can like register adult things. Because I think when you're 16, you're just still too young. There's too much going on, and you're just like caught up in the moment of being 16. You're so caught up in driving and like wanting a job and stuff. That's like the only two things you should really worry about.
Yeah.
Like if you're 16, you know who you can date: a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old.
And it won't be creepy. You know?
You know it's weird, but if you date like an 18-year-old, like there has to be like special circumstance around that.
Yeah,
Like you'll
like you
have to
knew
like
each
know
other.
a long time or something.
Yeah. Like that,
Because like I think that one's a little iffy. Like that's
like he's the son of a family friend or something, and you're like,
or like maybe you work together or something. Like, but it can't just be like he's a 19-year-old or anything. Like that's too much. That's
yeah. I don't know. I feel very much like there's like a distinct set of rules in place where it's just like it really depends on what the situation is.
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of weird that one.
yeah. That one's a little
Yeah, a lot of different
little
factors
couple
working
edges to it.
together.
Yeah, yeah. No kidding. Okay, like I just got on my phone and I got a news article. Eddie Van Halen just died.
What?
Like the famous rock guitarist died.
Fuck 2020, man. Fuck this shit.
Honestly, so sick of it.
So sick of this shit.
Honestly, fuck.
Fuck. Now I'm joking around, but at the same time, like, Jesus Christ. Again?
Yeah, a lot of people have died this year.
It's a very cursed year.
Yeah, this is cursed.
If we were to categorize this year, it's cursed. It's part of the cursed years.
Cursed images. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like one of the cursed years, like along with all the years of World War II.
World War II. Hashtag cringe.
But yeah, it's been cursed. It's been fucking weird. I was hoping that these last 2 months would save.
Would like save 2020.
Yeah, like not even like save it as much as we were just like, yeah, it was a pretty shitty year, but like those last 2 months, kind of fire though.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
I hope so. And the only things I have to base this on are video games and anime.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of cool video games this year.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of stuff, but like I was like talking to somebody recently. It just feels like everything cool that happened this year was just like last year. Like we attribute it to last year.
Yeah.
Because there was just such a lull in the middle where it's just like, well, what the fuck do we do now?
Oh yeah.
I really believe like I forgot Animal Crossing came out this year. I thought that was last year.
No, that was like
That was like March.
oh, okay, right. It came out the same day Doom did.
Yeah, it was like in March, and like I forgot. I even forgot Doom Eternal like came out this year. Because I'm like, oh, those are obviously late 2019 year, 2019 games. Because this year has nothing.
No, just early 2020s.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll say this about Doom Eternal. I like it. I obviously love Doom, love Wolfenstein, love that kind of genre. But it wasn't as good as Doom 2016.
I don't think so either.
I think my main thing with that is the fact that it took a game that was like already established. It already had an art style. Like it had the gameplay that you could expect. And I think they just added too many things
I wouldn't
too
even
quick.
I wouldn't even say that. I just think it's like the core idea of the gameplay changed because I've watched so many videos like kind of talking about it. Like in the first Doom, or Doom 2016, it was like, oh, it's just extremely violent and you move around a lot. That was the core idea of like, hey, I
Yeah,
let you like in the most gory fashion take out a bunch of demons. And in this one, it's more, okay, we're going to actually have you think about every movement. It's going to be a lot more strategic.
yeah, which I don't hate, but at the same time, like I don't want to think about Doom.
Yeah.
Like I just want to get on and I want to feel like invincible.
Yeah.
And I like hidden stuff in levels and stuff. Like I like finding like little figures or trying to find like soundtrack pieces and stuff. I think Doom 2020, well, I think it was a good game. Um I don't know, just it wasn't Doom 2016 because I think Doom 2016 a lot of it was like you build yourself up and obviously you build your weapons up. And it's like you go in, you move a little bit, just trying to get hit as little as possible, but if you get hit, like you've bit yourself up so much that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you're rewarded for exploring, like this is what I was going to talk about. You're rewarded for exploring, but you don't feel stupid if you don't explore.
Yeah.
I think Doom 2020 just had so much stuff in it. And like while I appreciate, that's extra content, that's extra level building, it's extra world, it's just too much. Like you spend so much time making sure you're not missing anything that you don't have fun.
I think my main problem with Doom 2020 versus 2016 can be summarized in the fact there is a there is a need for a hub world, if that
Oh,
makes
I
sense. Like in June 2016, it was like, okay, you're going to go from level to level. If you find something, you're going to be able to use it. You're going to be able to use it immediately, and it's going to be, and like if you find something, it's integral to what you have to do. You know,
yeah,
there
but
were
Doom 2020 was like they just threw a bunch of shit at you.
well, not even that. It's just like you find something, it's like almost a game changer to you. It's like, oh, here's the chainsaw. Now you can get more ammo. Here's the BFG. Now you can kill a bunch more enemies. But then in Doom 2020, you have a lot more collectibles, which are interesting. You got like the little figures, and then you got the little like um piece, and then you got like soundtrack and stuff like you were talking about. But then you have the suit upgrades, and you have the totem upgrades.
Oh yeah, that is like that bamboozled me.
Yeah, that does not feel good because it's
No,
like you have
like
to
I'm
explore.
stressing about finding these upgrade tokens now.
What?
Like I used to stress about being able to upgrade my like suit and stuff
Yeah.
because there were so many like possibilities, there were so many things you could do, which is cool because they all do something different, they all can change up your play style, but I think it's just so like it's stressful to me as a person because I'm like, what if I'm doing it wrong?
Yeah. Well, my thing was like this. Um, my main problem was like, you know, you you get like these suit upgrades, and they added way too many of them, by the way, because you could complete them while just playing through. But then they also added ones inside your hub world, and this is what I'm getting with the hub world. Going off of what you were talking about, you feel stupid if you don't explore. You
Yeah.
feel stupid if you don't explore because if you don't gather all the items, you don't get those battery charges. You don't get an extra battery charge. You don't have enough battery charges. Well, looks like you aren't getting that suit upgrade. That they'll give you that last point that you need to upgrade your suit.
Yeah. I think my last playthrough, I literally didn't have like two upgrades. And I was so mad at myself because I was like, Well, I just sat here and I played Doom 2020 in 2 sittings. Like the night it came out for about 30 minutes, and then the next day for like 7 or 6 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and I just sat there and I played it like all day, and I did like every challenge I could. I think there might have been a couple things I skipped over just because like I still didn't understand how the levels worked at times. But like I only needed like 2 more battery charges to like get everything, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, damn. I mean, I just like, what the else can I fucking do?
Yeah. But like again, it's just like, the fact that there's a hub world and you have to like be stop your action has to stop. You have to go around this thing getting upgrades that honestly, like, I didn't enjoy the upgrades personally. Half the time there was just
I
like,
didn't love them.
yeah, it just felt almost unneeded to me. Like I get they gave you an incentive to explore, but like I also had an incentive to explore in the last game looking for upgrades for my gun.
Yeah. Because like, and here's what I didn't love about all the things they added. If you were to give me the fire thing and then a grenade, I would have been like, okay, like sweet, like this is game changing. Because like you already had the chainsaw in the last game, which I never used ever.
Yeah.
Because like the chainsaw fuel, like maybe you had like 2 or 3 like in a level,
Yeah.
and then I'd use it instantly on like an imp.
Little imp, little goblin.
Yeah, and it's like it was a cool feature because you'd maxed out on ammo, but like at the same time, I mean, you were rarely gonna use it.
Yeah.
But Doom 2020 it made it a lot more like it almost made it too necessary at times, I think though.
Yeah, because like honestly, like you would be like it'd be sometimes it'd be hard you'd be hard pressed to find like just like even a simple like, oh, shotgun ammo.
Yeah, and that was another thing because like some of the guns use the same kind of ammo,
Yeah.
which like obviously makes sense. Like if you're using 2 shotguns, they're going to use the same amount of ammo. If you're using 2 machine guns, you're going to use the same amount of ammo.
Yeah.
Like, but some of them use so much more than the other.
You wanna know what I think would be interesting? It's like if I were to make my own kind of Doom 2020,
What?
um instead of like having, you know, a bunch more upgrades for the suit, so many types of grenades and like unnecessary to chainsaw. I would just literally add, if I could, I'd try and find more guns to like make into weapons, and instead of like, keep all the original guns, and instead of like having you fucking, I'm trying to think of the way to say this. Basically, I would make a bunch more guns and have you be able to swap them out if you wanted to. Like, oh, I don't use the fucking SMG. I don't like it. It's
Oh,
fucking,
so you get rid of it on the weapon wheel?
yeah, you could get rid of it and then replace it with something else. And you're like, oh, I like to use shotguns. So instead of this like dingy ass SMG that I never use unless I'm just out of ammo on literally everything, I'm
Yeah.
going to replace it with another shotgun.
Yeah, exactly. So then you wouldn't have 40 of the same kind of weapon and then just run out of ammo all the time.
Well, I mean, like it's also like I'm trying to think of how to.
And
It's
then
also
you just
like,
build off your own playstyle, yeah.
yeah, you could build it off your own playstyle. It's like, oh, I like to be in your face and I like to be able to punch things. Well, then here's 2 shotguns. Here's like a gauntlet weapon, which can like allow you to do punch attacks like faster and like a boxer or something.
Oh yeah, I would love that. Here's what I didn't love. Like in Doom 2016, your melee was so deadly. Like 2 or 3 hits to any enemy and they were gonna die.
Yeah,
Doom 2020, it was like throwing a bag of rice at someone.
yeah, and like it took like a good 20 to get it.
Yeah, like I remember loading in for the first time and I was like, I'm not gonna use the pistol, I'm not gonna use my gun. I was like, I'm gonna beat these 3 guys up. Like it's over. And like I was just sitting there punching them and I was like, why didn't they die?
Well, that's strange. They're not into the execution mode. That's strange.
Yeah, that's odd. And the thing about the execution mode, the glory kills, when they introduced those in Doom 2016, I was like, this is awesome. Like I love looking at this.
But again, you have gone on record many times saying that you just love violence.
I love in video games. Like Battlefield, my total shtick. Gears of War, my shtick. Doom, shtick. Wolfenstein, shtick. And all those have the same thing in common, and it's just like terrible violence.
Just horrible, horrible violence.
Yeah, but I love that. So the glory kills are like music to me. Like I love them.
Yeah.
And in Doom 2020, they had like 6.
I think the main thing, and I'm like trying to think about this more and more, so I may be wrong. But and I haven't played Doom 2016 or 2020 in like half a year at least for 2020. Um, I think the difference is between the two games are in Doom 2016, you are a force. You are a destructive force going through the pits of hell, slaughtering anything that you see.
Yeah.
In Doom 2020, you're a man doing the exact same thing. But it's like that distinct difference between a force and a man.
Yeah, like I remember in Doom 2016, dying was like so far and in between. Like you'd probably die once or twice per level, you know?
Half the time it's because you fell off of a bridge or something.
Yeah, half the time it's just because you were being a doofus and like trying some stupid shit. I felt like in Doom 2020, and like I'm not complaining because it's a hard game. Like it's a little challenging in a couple aspects,
Yeah.
but it's like I just feel like you died so easily.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter what upgrades you had or what you were doing. Like you just didn't ever have health.
It almost felt like you were playing um it's almost like your bullets were like almost like as you said bags of rice. Like every you would have to empty out so much into one enemy just to be able to get them into glory kill mode.
Yeah, and it was just strange. Like you no longer felt like you were like powerful. You just felt like, and I think you were supposed to because in one sense it was like Doom 2016. It was like you were very offensive,
Yeah.
and then in this game they're like on Earth or whatever, and they're like on the defense.
Yeah.
Which maybe that was like the feeling they were going for, but it's not the feeling of Doom, you know?
Yeah. Which I don't really want to say it's like that's not the feeling of Doom because that makes it sound like we know better, but like I totally get what you're saying. Like it's not the feeling that like drew you into 2016.
Yeah, because like I've played the original Doom, and I've played a couple of the other ones that are a little older,
Yeah.
and those are solid games. Like it always makes you feel strong. Like of course you're gonna die sometimes. Like that's just how it is. Like sometimes you just get beat, you know?
Sometimes even gods have a off day.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I don't feel like you should ever get on Doom and then like
Feel like you're
finish,
shitting out
like
wet
you're
paper
playing like
bags.
something. Yeah, like you're actually being punished for like your gameplay.
Yeah. I totally get that.
Yeah, because if I wanted to think about what I was doing, I'd play like Dark Souls.
Yeah. Which that's another bag of fucking worms to get into.
That's a whole nother thing. Oh yeah, word, word. So you ready to call it?
Yeah, we can call it now.
All right, bet. All right, so we're doing the outro.
Yeah. Outro time.
All right. What do you wanna do like this? Like, thank you. You wanna plug your Twitch?
Sure, I'll plug my Twitch. I'm live at twitch.com. I don't know what the fucking URL is. I'm live at the Twitch channel Kozomancy if you want to just come by and hang out, check it out, everything. You know?
All right. Well, I think I don't have anything to plug because I don't do anything.
Because you're a sad little man.
Yeah, I'm a sad little man. I uh watch Neil Patrick Harris every now and then. Uh, so you know what? Thank y'all for listening. This is the first episode of the Midnight Shift. Hopefully, down the road we'll have a couple more. So thank you for tuning in.
All right. See ya.
All right. Yeah, see you.